Aha! I found the go live button. Yes. Hello. Hello, everyone. So, yes, I know that a break party, we could do games, honestly, if you want to, but I was thinking that this might be a nice time to chat about how the day has been going and what you're accomplishing and what you're hoping to accomplish this week, and maybe feel inspired and energized for the projects that you're doing. So, let me know in the chat if that doesn't sound like a good idea or does, and we'll customize it as fit. So, I am Ruth, and this is my first time doing this marathon. I did not realize there was one last year, so very cool. It's such a great concept, and I love that we're getting to connect with other writers, especially. So this is just an amazing opportunity, and I know I find it really uplifting and inspiring to talk about my projects to some extent, and um, you know, other writers can appreciate your enthusiasm for your work in progress in a way that family members might not. That has been my experience. So I would love to start with having people in the chat tell everyone what you worked on today, and whether it was doing dishes or sewing or writing or reading, whatever it was. Did you work on multiple things throughout today, or did you focus in on one thing, and how did you decide what you wanted to work on? So lay it all on me. I have to figure out whether I can actually show the comments, because now that might be a pro StreamYard thing. It's been a long time since I've used StreamYard. Yes. Emma Northworld says, I like hearing enthusiasm. Oh, I think I can show. Oh, look at that. I can show it. Yes. Learning new things. Okay. Pushing up other people's energy. All right. Sam worked on trying to wrangle links. You got a lot on your plate, Sam. This is a huge undertaking, and you have been handling it like a champ. And look at that. Managed to beta read 3 chapters too. Awesome. Revisions. It's so hard with revisions too, because you want to be able to say, yeah, I did this word count. I got this number. And with revisions, it's like, my word count went up by 1 over, because I added and I took away and I took away and I added. So it's kind of a little discouraging, and like, I don't have like a check I can do. Oh no, broken links in all the emails. Oh, brutal. I'm glad the playlist link definitely has been working for me, because the watching from the playlist, it automatically pushes you to the next video, which is so cool. Really easy. All right. Self-care. That is even a nap. What a great Sunday. That is phenomenal. It is hard to remember to actually refill and recharge, and you need that as a creative person. And Sunday's a great day for that. I know I have a tendency to forget what day of the week it is and just keep on going and keep on going. And every day is the same as the last one. And then, like, okay, when is the relaxation day? There isn't one, because I feel guilty if I'm relaxing, right? Ooh, game development. Oh my gosh, I love gaming, and I love gamifying my writing and gamifying everything. I love that. Bat critters into a cave. Fantastic. Okay, what are you trying to get written? Tell us more about what you hope to accomplish before getting to work. Install a kitchen splashback. Okay. Woo. Yes. And you're still here, and you're still prioritizing doing the sprint. Like, amazing. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, is this internal to me? Is this society? Is this the world? It's so easy to feel like I should not be resting or sitting still or stopping writing or working for a single moment. And yeah, similarly to the revision with writing in general, it's very hard to feel like I have a thing that I can say, look, I accomplished this thing. There is a stopping point. There is a, like, I've done the work for the day, the end. It takes a long time to get to the end usually, unless you're writing the 6-word stories, which is its own kind of challenge. So yeah. Drafting book 4, 68%. That's an extremely specific statistic you have there. I'm guessing you have some kind of software that can tell you exactly how far you are. Developmental edits begin March and copy edits due in May. Woo, you are on a timeline. That's awesome. Yes. I like talking a lot about what people like in the game so I can come up with ideas. Reading what puzzles and RPG games some like and whatnot. Yeah. You Googled the percentage. Smart. Oh, I love it. Now talk about having a number. You're like, yes, some of us can say, okay, I wrote 150 words during that streak. And you're like, I got 68% of my outline. Amazing. Remove several scenes are easy to write. The occurrence cannot. Oh, yeah. That's so frustrating, especially when you're like, I had some good sentences in there. Like, I always save those in another file. I put it in the Google Drive. Like, maybe I'll find a way to use this sentence structure again. Maybe I'll find a way to use some element of this again. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword in a way, because you're frustrated that you have to let go of that word count. But a lot of times those moments where you realize, like, no, this can't happen in this way. It wouldn't make sense for this character. What that forces you to come up with is usually so strong and so much better. And when you do hit on that, like, oh, this is how I can solve that plot hole or that problem, it's like that feeling of putting a jigsaw puzzle in the right place and you've turned it and it just slides right in. Your brain just goes, ah. So moments like that are on their way to you, I think. 100%. Need to feel like I got something done to be satisfied. You're writing your first standalone this year. Okay, so you're usually writing in a series and now you're doing a standalone? Very cool. This year I wrote the longest book that I've ever attempted. My books are usually pretty short. I write contemporary romance and it's pretty simple. And I'm not sure how people write contemporary romance that's 600 pages, but I see that it happens. And it was so challenging to, like, I don't know why I decided that I needed to cross this bridge. My ambition got the better of me and I'm adding subplots and I'm like, I want it to be like this big thing. And it was such a headache trying to manage all those subplots and figure out, like, what's happening when. I was like, maybe I won't do this to myself again. Final edits for your first book. Oh, wow. That is amazing. And you have so many sprints ahead of you this week to be able to really bust through that. Fantastic. Yes, resting is part of the process too. Exactly. Sam knows what's up. You have to recharge. And we say that, we use that phrase of, like, fill your cup and things like that. And then we don't actually do it. Or we think, like, yeah, but I'm an exception to that. Like, I haven't worked hard enough yet. I don't deserve to rest and refill. But how can you get the creativity when you're not rested? How can you tell a story about life if you haven't been living life? So getting that balance is kind of a constant work in progress. So you have to be proud of yourself when you do take the break, when you do take the rest and you go out and you refill in some way. Yes, exactly. Feels so good. Okay, so yeah, your projects have been serial. It always grows too big. Well, that's the beauty of the serials, right? Where you can, like, stop it and be like, all right, that's the next book. Yes, I've written 800 words, but it's okay because it's 8 books. I suppose you do have to put some consideration into, like, where does it end? How does it guide people into the next book? Writing a novella genre right now. Can't go that big for a moment. Honestly, the novella that I published in August has been my bestseller since then. And I'm always beating myself up for, "Oh, you don't write enough. You don't write long enough books. You're less of an author because your books are so short." Really, really, I'm great at that negative self-talk. And and then it's like, not everybody is looking for a massive tome to read. And I did a 100-page book that was, it had the fun romance banter and it was light for the most part. I can't help but have those emotional gut punch moments, but and people are responding to it. So I was like, okay, I do need to do more of that. And I need to let go of this idea that I should be a different writer than what I am, because people need all different kinds of writers. And I don't need to be the person who writes an 800-page book, even though I think that that will make me believe in myself or believe that I'm a better writer, even though I'm sure if I did ever manage to write an 800-page book, it would not actually satisfy it, right? Not at all. Yep. Very good at being our own worst enemies. And especially as writers, I think that's a very common problem. I feel like I swing wildly between like, "Oh my god, I'm such a genius. This sentence is perfection. Like, I am great at this." And then like 5 minutes later, like, "I'm so terrible. Why does anybody read what I write?" Back and forth, up and down. It's a very emotional experience. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this might be fascinating for people to learn about. I just cut my hair last night and I don't know what to do with it. I started writing in the 90s when I was a teenager, and I became like very focused in on it. I told my dad, I think I was 12, and I was like, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And he was like, I think you have some time to think about that. And I was like, no, no, I have to decide right now, and I'm going to be a writer. And I just dedicated everything to that. Obviously nobody could tell me how impractical that was, because I'm a teenager. I'm not going to listen. And it was the 90s when self-publishing was not very accessible, and print on demand as a concept was only just starting. There were no ebooks. I went to school for writing and I got a master's degree in writing, and I began querying because that's what you do. Despite the fact that my master's was called a master's of professional writing, they gave absolutely no guidance on querying or the industry or book selling, History. Yes, yes, that long ago time, 30 years ago. Uh, things have changed a lot in the industry, and I've been really inspired to be able to watch those changes because I have such an appreciation, as whatever problems Amazon has, I can look at it and be like, but man, did it open the doors for me to have a career, which I'll get to. Hopefully you all will find this story interesting and helpful in some way. Um, the changes have been wild. So I queried my first book, and it was a weird book. And I was getting a lot of rejections saying like, we don't know how to market this. And I eventually felt like I'm going to self-publish this just to get it out of my psyche. It needs to be finished. It needs a period on it. And then I was going to move on to the next project. And yes, so as Dawn says, at that time, it was vanity publishing. If you wanted your books available for self-publishing, I mean, Walt Whitman self-published. He didn't use a vanity press, so there was, I suppose, an option of like directly contracting with some kind of a print shop, but vanity presses were everywhere. And this is where we get that expression of like, publishers pay you, you don't pay publishers, so be careful. Like if somebody's approaching you like, oh, it's only going to cost you $6,000 to publish your book, like, no. It's gotten more complicated now because now there's like services that help you self-publish. There's hybrid. It's gotten very complex. But I did go to a vanity press because I wanted my book to be available, and I was aware of what I was getting into. I was not somebody which most of them were, preying on authors' dreams. You want to be an author and somebody tells you that they're a publisher and they've accepted your work. I mean, that's part of the scam, is they accept everybody. There is no editing. There is no anything. They just take your book, they put it up because you paid them money. So, but that's what I did, because that was the option that there was available. And then Amazon launched Kindle and ebooks, and I had a friend who said, you should get in on that. And here's what I said. I said, oh, my book's available as a PDF on the publisher's website, so I'm sure that's fine. I'm not an early adopter of things. I'm very cautious. So it took me a couple of years, but I did in 2011. I got my rights back from the Vanity Press, and I self-published myself through Amazon. At that time, their print on demand, like print books, was called Create Space, and there was a separate Kindle direct publishing. Now that's all wrapped up into one, the KDP. And I quickly discovered that I absolutely loved the control that it gave me. I really appreciated being able to just decide, like, when is my book going to be published? How is it going to be published? What's the title going to be? What's the cover going to look like? How is it going to be marketed? Like, I get to be in control of all of that. Pretty cool. And I was very lucky to realize that I liked marketing, and that is not something that many fiction authors can say. They're, we're often very scared of marketing, intimidated by it. And I think I went into it with that attitude of, oh, marketing is what those evil frat boy business people do. Like, oh, they trick people into buying something they don't want. And that ideally, marketing, to my mind, is about connecting a person who wants something with the person who has it, and making it clear, like, you are asking for this thing, here is where it's available, let's connect those dots. So I've been pretty successful in marketing my books because I know my audience, I know who's reading them, and I'm able to say, like, oh, if you want this kind of book, here's where it is. Works really, really well. That's a lovely ambition. Yes. Now, the issue that I have right now with the small presses is my aunt got published with a small independent press, and they went out of business. Publishing is a rough business. The margins are so thin. The product, it sells for very little. The profit margins are tiny. So it's hard to keep a company going. And when her publisher went out of business, her books went out of print. So I helped her to upload them herself and self-publish them. But it kind of soured me to the small presses, unfortunately. It's sad, but yeah. Yeah, working with a team can be nice. But I will say, so I have been self-publishing since 2009. The only thing that I pay for at this point is the ISBN if I'm doing a print version. The novellas I am not doing in print. I'm just doing them on Kindle, and so I don't need an ISBN for that, which means they're free. It's a little bit shocking to say, because I do not pay for a cover artist and I do not pay for editing. I feel like, first of all, my books are romance novels. They're kind of fluff. Like, I don't need to invest thousands of dollars into making them, like, phenomenal. But also, like, I've been doing this a long time. I went to school for writing. I feel pretty confident in my ability to self-edit. So, like, that comes with time, I think, with time and experience. And then you just have access to all of these tools now, and you can just upload it and you can put it to distribution. You could use Ingram. Like, Ingram used to be only for publishers, and now they have a self-publishing branch. Like, but it can also be really overwhelming. So I don't mean to pitch things, but I do have another YouTube channel where I'm doing a series on step-by-step how to self-publish your book, because I felt like I wanted to share this knowledge that I've gathered over this time. So there is a channel called Financially Free Author that has a playlist where I've been going through, like, how do you edit your book? How do you do a cover? Should you do your own cover or not? Things to consider, whether or not you should go to like querying a traditional publisher, then like how to do the book description, how to research the keywords and all of this stuff, leading up to my favorite topic, which is book marketing. I love marketing books and I love author websites. I find that to be the most powerful form of book marketing. So I want to share that with more authors because like we can all be successful. There's enough readers out there and no one author can supply all of the reader demand. So like we're all in this together, right? Each person can gather information, decide what to use. Yeah, I'll try to put a link in for that playlist. I want to have that standard in my head, so I need edits in Illustrator and all. Yeah, perfection, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, part of it is just considering like, is this book meant to be like a magnum opus? Is this book meant to be the great whatever novel? Is it meant to be a candy bar like mine? Or is it somewhere in between? And then you can make a decision based on that. Like, how much do I want to invest to accomplish those goals? I think I missed some good comments back here. Indie publishing made me less afraid of marketing my books. Oh, good. Yes, you can do it. Self-publishing encourages my must-have total control nature. It does. It does. Oh, and that was the other thing I wanted to say too, is I thought, of course, that I needed the validation of a traditional publisher to tell me, like, you're a good writer. This book is worthy of being published, right? And then readers started reading my book and I started getting reviews and they started sharing. And I actually found out about it because I was dating a guy who Googled me and said, did you know there's people on a forum talking about your book? And I was like, no, what? So I go there and yeah, they're reading it for their book club. And the validation of actual readers, I was like, okay, I don't need a traditional publisher. I am happy as a clam. This is everything that I wanted. Like, I'm good now. So I have not looked back. I would not take a traditional publishing deal if they offered it to me. I love the way that I'm doing things now. And I know that my books are accomplishing what I want them to because the readers tell me so. And that's what I really wanted. So yeah. Actual organic readers. Exactly. Okay, let me look up that other playlist so I can put it in the comments. Okay. Okay, here we go. So the first couple of thumbnails, I used an AI image of myself because it was so pretty. And then my friend talked me into actually using my real face. I was like, oh, fine. But look, she's so pretty. She's like, yeah, but it doesn't look like you. Fair enough. It is a very rough business. Yeah. Yeah, which is another reason why it's nice to be a self-publisher because you can control the margins and the profit so much more. You don't have to share it with an agent. You don't have to share it with the publisher. So those small margins start working more for you at that point. Throw a donut at a person, they have to buy a box. Yeah, that like the first one's free kind of thing. It can work with writing, but I think your writing has to be very stellar for it to be like, here, have a taste. Now, don't you want more? But if you can hit on like an underserved niche, then you can absolutely do that because there are readers out there looking for books that are not being written. And so like for me, I'm inspired by what do I want to read. I became a writer because I couldn't find the books that I wanted to read. That's less of a problem these days because my goodness, but again, the 90s, not so much internet. But when I started writing them because I thought I can't be the only one who's looking for these books that don't exist. So that was true. And I got an audience. And now like if people go looking for this type of book, they see me inevitably. There's only like 5 people writing in this genre. So it's, you know, I can give a teaser on my website as like a funnel, a sales funnel kind of thing. And then people can see, okay, I like this writing style and I've been looking for these kind of books. Okay, sold. It's that simple. So, Oh, yes, exactly. When's the second one going to come out? Ooh, yes. Like, I'm a real author now. Oh, yeah. Internet traffic is undergoing a very interesting, shift right now. SEO is what I have relied on for a long time for passive traffic. So I am quite good at setting up, um, passive income sales funnels, and I wrote a book, I wrote a nonfiction book about internet traffic, and I believe that it can be divided into 4 different types, and one of those only a couple of those, like, subtypes can be passive, and SEO was one of them. But SEO is undergoing incredibly big changes right now because of the AI, so it's really unclear how that's going to end up, where that's going to lead. People who primarily use SEO are finding huge drops in the number of people arriving at their website. Um, but part of that is the lesson in not putting all your eggs in one basket and finding multiple different avenues of generating traffic. So, yeah, but I'm keeping up with the SEO. I'll be curious to see how it lands in a year or two. I think there's always a way forward. There's always smart people figuring out ways to get around the things that bring our traffic down. I personally find social media to be a great way to bring traffic to my website, to my books, to my sales pages. And I know that people can be kind of negative about social media and being social. A lot of us are introverts. But again, I come from a time where there was no social media. So if you wanted to like get the word out about your book, you had to talk to people in person, face to face. Okay. Excellent. It's my daughter. So I'm like, oh, like I'll do social media, sure. Like I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to like pay the entry fee to be at a book fair. So to me, I'm like, social media is like so much less person centric in a way. I've been doing TikTok since this summer and just putting up like a screenshot of a quote from my book on a stock image. Those are doing fantastic for me. And I've been tracking the results and like, oh, this is actually bringing sales to my books. And they're so easy to create. And it's lovely because I get to like show off the parts of my book because what really, I'm rereading my own book going like, oh, I really wish more people would read this paragraph. I really am proud of this paragraph. So now I can be like, take that paragraph, like, look, guys, come on, isn't that great? Come read the rest. Pulled back on SEO and website design. Yeah. I would love to hear what your other methods are that you're using. Yeah, the blogging as a way to get like domain authority and stuff has been pretty hard. I'm still getting passive income through writing on Medium because they have their own domain authority that's very high. I don't have to like build it up for my own blog. I don't do the paid Medium thing because I want like the reach. I want more people to be reading those articles. And then, I have a teaser and a link for the next step. I like to say always lead somebody on the next step of the path. Like this is a cobblestone path that leads to your books. So lay the stones and guide people like this is where you go next. This is where you go next, Yep. Instagram has been discouraging me. I don't know. I think I'm just being a baby about it. But, so I write disability romances. I have been writing romances with disabled characters for a lot of years. And on Instagram, they were doing this like Disability December, read books with disabled characters, and people sharing their favorite books with disabled characters. And nobody mentioned mine. And I tried to I joined in and I posted other people's and I was like being enthusiastic and part of this community. And I felt really left out and it's so dumb, but I was just like, every time I go to Instagram, I just get reminded of that feeling of like being a middle school, like left out of the cool crowd. It's so dumb, but I've been avoiding Instagram because of that. But I love YouTube. YouTube is my primary like social media now. And I'll take those same TikToks and post them on YouTube as well. So most of my channel content is the YouTube shorts now. So they still pay for themselves, they just aren't as profitable. Plan of action, I love that. Yes. And clearly you do this as part of like your business, like your actual job, and that's something that authors need to learn from. We need to be more business minded in some ways. Like we don't have to be Patrick Bateman. We don't have to be the frat boy. We have to understand that books are a product, and we are connecting with readers and loving it and sharing and all these wonderful things. And we have to also know how we're running a business, especially if I'm self-publishing. I have to know that. I have to know what's my plan for getting the word out about this book? What is my plan for how to make this a great experience for those readers? How am I going to reach my income goals? How many books do I need to publish? And I think there's also been such a push to have to publish more and more, which is really sad to see and hard to deal with. We used to have the luxury of like, I can spend a year on a book and polish it and make it great. And now it feels like, oh, if I don't publish something every 6 weeks, like I'm going to be forgotten and steamrolled over by whatever algorithm. So there's this enormous pressure on authors to be constantly coming out with new stuff, and the quality of the work suffers. So it's not good for any of us. So, yeah. Yes, that's a smart way to go. And you can get into the weeds and obsess over like, oh, the style of content on TikTok might perform differently than on Instagram, so I should do different things. And like, it's not worth putting that much time and energy into it. Just make a short form video and put it everywhere. And there's very little predicting which ones will do well on which platforms, and it'll be wildly different. I'll have the same video on YouTube and TikTok, and it will get 900 views on TikTok and 5 views on YouTube. And I'll be like, that's so weird. And then the reverse will happen for the next one with no rhyme or reason. So like, put your energy into the writing and making great books, and just like, don't put too much worry into getting it just right with the social media. I had an author friend who was like, well, when you make these TikToks, like I can't edit the way I want to in the app. And I was like, why are you doing it in the app? Oh, of course, she's been told that the algorithm will push it out if it's edited in the app. I was like, if anybody gives you advice that says the algorithm likes this, throw it out the window. Maybe it does, but not enough for it to make it worth it for you to put that much time and energy into worrying about doing all of these little details. And what the algorithm is really designed to do is make people like your content and stay with the content and stay on the platform, right? So the algorithm is going to share things if you're creating something that people like. So think about like, what is going to make it entertaining and interesting and catch people's attention. Create for people, not for robots, as they say on the vidIQ channel. Something with a pet always works. Yeah, I have some very cute pets. That is true. I tried. My dog usually is sitting on my lap while I'm recording videos for the other channel. And so I've started putting like a little clip at the end with like the outtake of her. She's so precious. Serial content. Yeah. So not just writing a series, but writing in these platforms that are like, you come out with a chapter every, certain period of time, which is in a way like a hearkening back to the old days, very, very Charles Dickens. I think for me personally, I don't want to do that. And I would be very scared to do that because I am not very reliable. So your mileage will vary with this. How confident do you feel that you will be able to put up the next section when you said you would, or within a reasonable time, right? For me, I know I cannot depend on myself to do that. because I've had enough times where I've let people down and not gotten it. So as much as I feel like, oh, I'm so inspired by this project, I'm gonna put up these sections, I wouldn't trust that that momentum would continue long enough for me to actually see it through. So I stay far away from that. But I think if you had a different personality and perhaps not ADHD, that that could be awesome. And again, it's a very classic way to do things. Yeah, and if you want to go over to my channel, because now we're connected, you can see some examples of these shorts that I'm talking about that are really, really simple concepts. I mean, some of the more recent ones are me talking about stuff, but a lot of them are just the sorry, I did not anticipate me talking for an hour. Sorry. I don't know why I didn't anticipate that, because that's exactly what I signed up for, but oh well. But yeah, you can see these extremely simple TikToks that are not hard to make at all. And especially, it all starts with knowing your audience. It all starts with knowing who is the person who wants to read this book. And probably the person who wants to read the book is someone very much like you. What inspired you to write the book? What gave you that passion and energy to see it through, to create this project? Like, to write a book takes so much sustained effort. You have to have a fire in you. So what is stoking that fire? That's the key to marketing your book. If you can find what is the thing that like lights me up about this story and my desire to get it out to the world, my desire to share it, why do I want to share it so bad? That's the magic in that story. And you will find the readers who want it as badly as you do and don't have the ability to create it for themselves, and will be so grateful that you created it for them. Serial work is tricky. Most folks who were doing good on Vella now take those stories and create books out of them. Is Vella even still going? I was wondering about that, because I tried to look it up at some point, and it seemed like maybe it's not even a thing anymore. But my other author friend is doing some platform that does serial writing. I need a whole mini story per post. Yeah, forgetting, losing interest. We have so many options for entertainment now too. So yeah, it's like so easy to forget. Or like, where did I put that link? Oh, dang, I wanted to hear the end of that story and now I can't remember where it was. Cozy horror. Oh my gosh. That's cool. That's so different. And I'm a big fan of a small niche. I mean, you heard my story. Disability romances is a small niche, but it's been enough to sustain me because it's a small niche, because there's no, like I said, like 5 other authors maybe writing books for this audience. So when you find that unique take that very few people are doing, again, you're writing it for a reason. You're writing it because you want it to exist. So there have to be other people out there who also want it to exist. And just seeing some of the rise of cozy fantasy, I feel like cozy genre is just a tiny, or cozy horror is just a tiny sidestep from that. So yeah, you've got a good combination there. I think it would be so fascinating to just talk, put up TikToks about what does that mean? What does it look like? Horror usually makes you think that you're going to be feeling like fear and anticipation and anxiety, but oh, I made it cozy. How? Maybe a little example, maybe not. Maybe you just tease it. I think people would really be fascinated to find out more about that. I don't know if Ella's gone. Somebody will have to. Oh, okay. Sam said crashed and burned. Wow. What a shame. Yeah, I think there were some people it was really well suited to, and they were doing well with it. That's one of the things that really scares me as an independent freelance author too is, yes, Priya. Okay. I'm busy right now. Yes, I am on a meeting. She should be asleep. My husband's supposed to be putting her to bed. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's again that putting all your eggs in one basket. I have so much fear about, well, right now, like being in Kindle Unlimited is working well for me, but what happens when it stops working? Or right now, I'm getting traffic from TikTok, but that could end at any moment. What do I do then? So it's so easy to sort of feel this panic and fear, even when something is going well, even when it's working, of like, well, what am I going to do when it stops working? Because it's definitely going to stop working. And then what? So I do try to kind of spread things out and do a variety of different things and have different options and things like that. Let's cuddle on the couch while I tickle your ribs with this knife. Yes. Oh my gosh. So unique. I love it. Literally said on wish list, cozy horror. Oh my gosh. You're about to hit a cultural zeitgeist. So you are very well positioned right now. That is awesome. Mismanagement. Yeah, again, it's hard to those profit margins are thin. It's hard to produce writing, to produce art, to put it out there in a profitable way. And so we try different things, and some of them just never really work. And some of them work for, usually, it's the other way around. Usually it's working for the corporations and not for the little guy. In this case, it sounds like it was working for some of the authors, but probably not for Amazon. So there is that. Record on my phone. A few instances. Yeah. I trust myself with my phone. I know I can do that. I do a little bit of editing on like Video Shop, which is an app, and then put it up. Or Canva. Like I do the screenshots on a stock image just in Canva. That's it. So another question that I have for everybody is what stage are you at in your author journey? Are you already have several books out there? Are you writing your first? Are you under contract for your first? Are you considering how you want to put it out there? Are you like, this is my 10th book and I'm thinking about switching genre? Like where are you at in your journey as an author? So tell me all about that. Let's see if I missed any other juicy comments. Yeah, the quote on stock image, try it. Like I said, just check out a couple on my channel here and you'll see what I mean. And they're so fast and easy to do. And I get to show off my favorite parts of my books. So I love it. Okay, we've got self-published. And how many books have you self-published, Heather? 3 novels out, 2 novellas, only 70 more novels to write. You got it all planned out, right? Like this one next, then this one. I have like this master to-do list, and it stresses other people out because they're like, I need to check things off my to-do list. I'm like, no, I would be stressed out if my to-do list ever runs out. I want to always know that I have the next thing that I can be inspired by, because maybe I'm not inspired by whatever I said my next project was going to be, but I'll be inspired by the one I thought was 5 books down, right? So I want to always have those options. I'm on a meeting. Hi.
Oh, I was going to tell you, can you brush my teeth?
I cannot brush your teeth, no.
Why? With me.
No, I can't. Sorry.
Why?
You did. I'm on a meeting. I'm running a meeting. I'm a very important, impressive person.
Well, you need to catch it.
I need to catch it?
It's
Oh, I'm running it. Jokes.
Bye.
Bye. Self-published 2 books. Awesome. Okay. Do you have plans, Dawn, for what the next one is? Are you going to be working on a new one, or are you just like brainstorming, outlining this week? Middle grade out a year, 2 years ago. New project every year. You get stuck in the perfectionism and don't release them. So once you overcome that, you're going to have like this huge backlist that you can release all at once. This is why I tried to not sign up for too many slots for hosting. Like I wanted to do so many, but kids, oh my goodness. There's always like, oh yeah, well, I have to meet the school bus early on that day. And oh, this one has a doctor's appointment on that day. So very hard to schedule anything. in the middle of brand realignment from queer fantasy to dark sapphic fantasy and folklore. Ooh. I know a young reader who is very, what's the word? Ahead of her time, ahead of her age. There's a word for it that I'm forgetting right now, but she loves sapphic fantasy and cannot get enough of it. So I will have to check that out because I like to send her whatever sapphic fantasy I find. Published my last book, the 5th, in 23. Now book 1 is going out February 10th. Book 2, 4th book. I'm so confused by the sentence. I'm so sorry, Devin. Yeah, I am not following what you're saying here, but it sounds like you have 5 books out, 4 books out, which is awesome. Amazing. 2 young adult, 1 new adult mythology retelling. Oh, how perfect is that? Yeah, I mean, I feel like Nina can handle adult books, but she is just 13. But her mom was my best friend growing up, and boy, she was such a reader. So I'm not surprised that her daughter is way ahead on the reading. Self-publishing 2. Working on book 3 in the series, first book in a different genre. Okay, so you're working on 2 different projects right now to continue with what you're doing and also test out the waters in a new genre. I would love to hear what inspires you to try a new genre. Like what makes you think like, oh, I really want to write a story, or does the story come to you first? I don't know. I want to hear more about that from anybody who has an opinion. Can't afford to release to the standard I want. The last book is not earning anything. Oh, tried to make it accessible. Oh, geez. I'm sorry. Yeah, it does. That is one of the benefits with the traditional publisher, putting their budget behind it, as we all know. So there is that downside to the self-publishing where I have been happy with the standard that I'm at with not paying for these professionals, but I can definitely understand wanting it to be to a more professional and higher standard. And then it's tricky because like Reedsy did a breakdown where they looked at their freelancers and like what it would cost to get all of the editing and the proofreading and the cover design. It came out to $5,000. And I was just like, it's going to take a long time for your book to earn that back. I mean, you're going to be making in royalties like $1 or $2 per book sale. Long time to earn that back. So it's very tricky with that. Yeah. Every book written on construction paper and pinned to a Kanban board. Ooh. My God, that's so organized. I love it. And you have you have an image underneath that you get to reveal. That's genius. Oh my gosh, I love that. So smart. I don't think I couldn't stick with it. It's the same problem with the serial thing and why like one of my followers on TikTok, I said, the next book coming out is Swiped Left. And she was like, wait, I thought it was a different one that was coming out next. And I was like, oh yeah, I did kind of say that because like I changed my mind. This one's inspiring me more today. So yeah, that's part of my problem. Not being reliable. Ghost Romance release launching in April this year. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. So it can fit into that like paranormal romance, and like monster romance is so big right now. So it's kind of like flirting on the edge of that too. Very nice. We should all aim to be Sam. I think that's a good goal to have. I think that's the one. Oh my gosh. So Dawn says stories usually come to me. I read widely over multiple genres, so I write a lot of different genres. It's nice though to have a good backlog of ideas. You never want to be in that place again where you're just like, well, I have no ideas. I don't know. Do any of us ever experience that, or do we always have like way too many that we could never actually get to all of them? Probably. Sometimes we can get too stuck in like, what is the genre? I always think about Outlander and how when Diana Gabaldon wrote that, she didn't know what the heck she was doing. She didn't know anything about genre. She just wrote what she wanted to write. and then discovered after the fact that it didn't neatly fit into a genre. So it kind of spans like 3 or 4 different genres, and it's wildly successful. So it's another one of those lessons of write from the heart and write what you want to write, what calls to you. I don't know. That's my personal feeling on it. Obviously, there's a lot of right to market people who might disagree with that, but I personally feel like people are going to love and resonate with the book that you wrote based on what you wanted and what lit you up, you know? Okay, Devin's going to explain. Book 5 is out. Book 1 publishes February 10th. Book 2 publishes March 10th. And writing book 3. Okay, it sounds like I'm going to get really confused if I try to read your books. No, so these aren't a series, right? This isn't like I need to have read book 1, or is it? Because I might have to wait until all of them are out now if I'm going to read. Because if book 5 is out before book 1, that's the part where I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. But if they're not a series or they're like a loose series, I could see how that works. 50 cents per book. Oh. Yeah, the cost of everything is going up a lot too, so it's hard because we want to keep our books affordable, make them more accessible to people. And, you know, a lot of people struggling. And so it's hard to raise the prices, but you also, again, have to think like a business to some extent. This is a product and it costs you something to create it. You have to have a plan for how to recoup that, or else you can't keep creating. And people are going to want more books from you. And how can you keep giving them books if you, every time you do a book, you're drying yourself up more and more. So I think that's the trade-off there. Oh, it's a tricky one. Yeah. Yeah, I think ghost romance sounds lovely. You just added them to the list. Yes. Like, yeah, they were on the list. Everyone wants to be you when they grow up, Sam. Yes, we're very impressed. We never actually feel grown up, do we? We're always like, I'm just the kid stumbling in here. I don't know what I'm doing. Where's the adult? I was not too young. No, I think I was just the right age to read Outlander. I have not been able to keep up with the rest of the books, though. I think I've only read the first one. So, but I did really like it. Work on editing at some point this week. Okay, so that's gotta be your plan for one of these productivity streams once you've got all the links working. That's what I was doing. I managed to work a little bit on the novella that I was hoping to publish last month, but that's not happening, which is why I don't tell people exact publishing dates anymore either. But I did manage to do some editing on it, and then I'm like, well, what can I brag about in the comments? Like, I changed a few words here and there. Like I cut a paragraph and meshed 2 chapters together. Ooh. So, yeah. Following the book ideas that spark my creative flame. Yes, I approve. Exactly. Ooh, okay, Devin's up next with Morgan. And that is in 5 minutes. We have managed to cover an entire hour just chit-chatting, and I am feeling inspired for writing. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pumped about writing. So, yeah, let's end this off with what inspired you to become a writer? Let's harken back to those first sparks that set us on this path to remind us of the heart that we have for this. So everybody put in the comments, what was the moment that inspired you and made you want to be a writer? Oh, that is so true, Andy. There are those whose writing from the heart just happens to align with the market. I feel like I'm never on the cultural zeitgeist, except for when cottagecore started trending. And I was like, oh my God, I did it. I'm finally on trend. This is amazing. Very rare. Oh, a Kickstarter. Now that's not a bad idea. I mean, look at the Milo Winter situation. My goodness, as frustrating as it is, I do have to say, like, that guy got 6,000 pre-orders. So, like, what was he doing right? Like, there was something going right there. And that was a Kickstarter. And there was like art and this whole like world building aspect. Not a bad idea at all. Oh, thank you, Sam. For my next break party, I will have actual games, but like I said, I thought it would be nice for this time to just kind of debrief about what's been happening. Oh, I get that a lot. Yeah, the characters don't shut up. Escaping the world. Everybody is needing a lot of that. A teacher who read a story that I wrote for class. Oh, what a great vote of confidence. I love that. Need to be heard. Yeah, connecting with people, definitely. Pretty prose and interesting stories. Beautiful. Your grandmother tried to get published. Oh, that's beautiful. She was so dedicated. She finally just printed out her own books, bound them, and started handing them out. Amazing. Can't stop stories. Okay. Sam is saying it's time to go to the next stream. So thank you everyone for hanging out with me. And I am so looking forward to spending more time with you this coming week. Absolutely amazing. Thank you. I will end it there.